Welcome to the fourth and last session of the Lettering Design Roadmap. My name is Martina Flor, and what I write together during the past few days, every one of you showed up to do the work. So I want to take a moment to cheer you on for that. For those that are joining for the first time, I want to let you know that you can catch up with the replays of the past sessions in our replays hub. Now, let's recap what we have achieved together throughout this week. Think back of session number 1, where we introduced what I call the lettering expertise era, and you saw how lettering is a timeless craft that has become a valuable established skill used across many industries and applications. Then in session number 2, we focus on the stages of becoming a lettering designer, and you learn how to identify where you stand in your journey, and more importantly, what's holding you back from progressing to the next stage. You also saw that success looks different for everybody. And this realization also allows you to stop comparing yourself to others in other stages of their journey and focus on your own path and where you want to go. And in session number 3, you saw the complete roadmap, which is a structured path to learn and master lettering and apply these skills professionally and build a career around it for those that want to go as far as building a career and a business around it. You now have a blueprint that shows you how everything connects and what to focus on next. As I said in previous sessions, you can see the entire picture, the entire roadmap, the entire puzzle that you have been trying to put together on your own. And in just a few days, you have been here and we have covered a lot, both on the craft side and how it connects to professional work. And in this session, I will show you how lettering designers turn skill into paid opportunities and what the next step in your path can look like. So for those that are joining right now, I'm Martina Flor. I'm a lettering designer, author, educator, and I'm the founder of the Lettering Seminar. And during our time together today, I'm going to show you a progressive way in which you can generate income with your skills and build a living as a lettering designer. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to get there with a lot more ease. And it's because of the lettering roadmap that I have developed behind the lettering seminar, which is my signature program. And as I promised in our last session, I will tell you all about it today. And I cannot wait to tell you all the details because this year is like no other. So at the end of the session, I'm gonna tell you all the details. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I will take a step back so that we can talk about how lettering designers turn their skills into opportunities. Now, I want to show you something important because once you develop this skill, the question becomes, what can I actually do with it? Okay, now I have the skill. And now what happens when I want to apply it professionally? So depending on where you are and how far you want to take this, lettering can play different roles in your work. And I think this session is going to give you a lot of clarity around how can you apply this professionally and how that progressively becomes part of your work, because this is not something that you build from one day to the other. This is something that you progressively build throughout the years, but it starts with the skill and then you can start infusing it in your work. And I talked about this concept in previous sessions, this concept of infusing this type of work into what you're already doing. So stick around because this session is going to give you a lot of clarity around this. So for some of you, this will become part of your practice, something you want to build a career around. For others, this is about expanding what you already do, which is bringing more depth into your design or your branding work, which is, I know that many of you are graphic designers, are branding experts, are illustrators, and you're looking at how can I bring more authorship into my work? How can I bring into what I am already doing? How can I do something more creative that brings me more joy, that also allows me to position myself as an expert, as someone that does one thing really well? So this skill will give you different paths, and that will look different for many of you. And the interesting part is that the same skill can support both paths that I'm gonna show you next. And it's not about choosing one or the other to make money. It's about building a combination that fits the kind of career you want. And I will show you I'm also going to show you real lettering artists, designers that are incorporating this skill in their skill set and that are building careers with it. So let's start with the most immediate level, which is applying this skill directly to your work. This is the layer number one. And I want you to think about this as layers. As you have the skill. Now, how can you start infusing more of this into your work, right? So the layer number one is applying the skill directly to your work. And for those that are joining the session, I want you to start thinking how this applies to you. So I think something important about these sessions is that it gives you the space, the time to think about how this works for yourself. And as I go through the content, as I go through the slides, I want you to start thinking, okay, how can I do that myself, right? So applying the skill is the layer number one. And this is where most of you will start, where many will start, right? So you will bring lettering into your client work, into branding projects. You will bring lettering into campaigns, right? And also, I think that an important element of this is that you will be infusing lettering in what you are already doing, right? And you won't be using something that is, that is a template or something that is pre-made. You will be creating custom lettering for specific projects, right? And you will infuse this in what you're already doing. So for instance, for those logotype designers that are in the room, you will be, next time you need to tackle once you acquire the skill, next time you have to create a logotype or an identity for a client, instead of using a pre-made font, you would then use a custom, you will create a custom logotype. So you will create that logotype from scratch. In case of branding projects, the same applies. In case of campaigns, you will, instead of using other templates or other pre-made things or fonts, you will be creating custom lettering for that, right? So you will be already infusing this in what you are already doing. So if you're already a designer, this is where lettering becomes a powerful addition to what you already do. And this is the shift. You move from selecting type to shaping it, to creating it yourself, right? And that, for many designers, that changes the level of the work you can offer and the rates that you can charge for it. And because you're creating custom work that is unique, that has a level of customization that other designers don't offer, and therefore that positions you differently. And you can already start doing it from by approaching the work that you're already doing with this new acquired skill. You approach the work from the lens of the skill. I talked about this often in this series. When you learn a new skill as a designer and you become really proficient at it and you become really good at it, you change your lens. You change the lens through which you approach every project. And I want to tell you some stories of designers that are already doing this. So Juanma is a student of mine, and Juanma is a professional, has been a professional for many years. Juanma worked as an identity designer for many years, as a graphic designer. And when I started working with Juanma was in the Lettering Seminar 2025, and Juanma was a little bit disenchanted with his work. And I can totally relate to that because I was in that position as well. And let me know in the chat if you are in that position right now. But lettering was part of his life, but it was always a side thing. So Juanma kept lettering as something that he did as a hobby, but he never thought of how he could incorporate this in his work. And in the span of a year, I saw Juanma going from, I don't know what to do with this skill. This is something that I do on the side, to producing solid work, to building a portfolio, and to infusing more of this lettering work in the work he's already doing for clients. So Juanma specializes in identity for cultural projects, and he was, by adding this new skill in his skill set, he was able to, create more custom solutions for his clients. Juanma was creating, for instance, posters for theater plays, and he was creating identities for cultural events. And he was able to, through this skill, he was able to create much more custom work, and work that he's also very proud to show. So what you see on screen are all posters that he has created in the past year for clients using his lettering skills. So he didn't have to revamp the whole thing and restart what he had, or start over as a professional. He was taking the skill seriously, developing it, building a portfolio, and infusing more of that work in what he was already doing. And that allows him to position himself differently as an identity designer. Another example of this, Andrea Rodriguez, and I talked to you about Andrea in the first session. So Andrea is a muralist based in Toronto, and Andrea was creating these murals with her illustration or her illustration style. And Andrea learned the skill of lettering and infused some of this skill in the work that she does. So it allowed Andrea to actually offer that additional service that I know that many illustrators struggle with. So you will be often asked to add texts or messages in the work that you are doing as an illustrator, and by understanding how to do that and how to shape that properly, you can offer that additional skill set to your clients. And Andrea was doing just that. And I think that that also gives her a new layer to the work she was already doing. Andrea is a Latina artist working in Toronto, and for her, and you can see it in her work, her roots are a very important part of her world and her work and her style. And by being able to also shape messages, she was also able to send a bigger, stronger message through her work, which is not only based on illustrations, but also using messages and stories that resonate with her own story. So you can see how these designers and artists were infusing some of these elements in their work. And then as your work develops, something else starts to happen. And that means that your work starts to move beyond individual projects. This is where your work starts reaching farther. So the first layer is adding that skill set in what you're already doing. And when you do it for a while and you show that work to the world, this is where your work really starts reaching farther. And here's where, the second layer comes in of expanding your reach, and you might start licensing your lettering work. You may start working with an agent. You may start collaborating with brands, or you might get invited to speak about your work because you have enough experience at this, because you have expanded your portfolio, and it's still based on your skill, but now it's working in more than one place at the same time, right? It's not only living in your portfolio and the work you do for clients, but it's also reaching a bigger audience, is reaching people's homes through licensing and using that artwork in products, is reaching new audiences through partnerships, and you are able to go on stages to speak about your work. And at this stage, your work starts working for you. Can you see how these layers start to work? So at this stage, your work starts working for you, not just when you're actively producing it, but also beyond it. So you go on a speaking engagement and the video of your talk will be multiplied and shared all over the internet, right? Or that artwork that you created, you later see it on people's clothes or on people's home products. So this is how your work starts working for you. And you start expanding your reach. And a good example of this is Alana Flowers. I worked with Alana for many years. And in fact, Alana is one of our instructors inside the lettering seminar this year, which I will tell you about later. So Alana is a lettering artist based in New York. And Alana, what happened with Alana is that, again, she is a graphic designer. She started infusing more of her lettering work into her work. And Alana, after a few years, she was able to go full-time as a lettering artist. And what she started to do as she gained proficiency is that she started building her own audience. So she built her own YouTube channel where she shares a skill set and also her process to create lettering. Alana, through that, she was able to go and speak on stages, on design stages. And Alana is really expanding her reach because she through creating these different income streams, she's not solely focusing on client work or relying on client work, but she's also generating income through, for instance, her YouTube channel that has over 15,000 subscribers. So she is, through creating, through expanding her reach, through first becoming really good at what she does, proving the world that she can do this through her portfolio, and then going out there and sharing with others what she knows and what she has learned throughout the journey. She is reaching a bigger audience. She's generating additional income for her business. And another example of this is Jessica Molina. You may know Jessica also from social media. Jessica will also be an instructor this year inside the lettering seminar, which is it's going to be an incredible lineup of instructors this year. And Jessica is also a lettering artist who was incorporating this skill set into her work, and she built a portfolio. Jessica started infusing this into her work. So she started building her portfolio as a lettering artist, and throughout time, she was able to, and through production and consistent output, she was able to build a portfolio of licensing, of art licensing, and through that she was able to license that work to companies. So she now has a growing income stream, recurrent income stream from those licensing deals. And Jessica Monita is going to talk about this in the lettering seminar. She's going to talk about licensing and how you can do that inside the lettering seminar, but I will tell you about it later on. But Jessica is a great example of how once you have acquired the skill, once you have built a portfolio, once you feel confident about your work and you feel proficient about what you're doing, you can also start creating that catalog of work, where you start expanding your reach, and your work doesn't require you to be putting in the hours. Your work generates income for you as an additional income stream. So this is the second layer when you start expanding your reach. The first layer is adding this in your skill set. The second one is when your work starts to work for you. And then there's this other level where you start building assets. You start building things that exist beyond client work. And this is what really gives many creatives independence. The independence of, being able to accept client projects or decline client projects according to whether you think they are suitable for you or they are aligned with your goals. And let me know in the chat if that's not the dream, which is something many of us aspire to, when you don't necessarily depend on someone assigning you a project, when you have built assets that work on their own, when you have built things that generate income and allow you to have that flexibility. So this is where you create things that continue generating value over time. So you might sell products online or digital products or physical products. You can create digital downloads. You can teach through memberships and workshops. You can publish your work. You can mentor. You can mentor other creatives, because this is something you know very well. You are ahead in your journey, and you can help those that are earlier in their journey. And these are things you build once, and they develop over time, right? These are things that you just do once and they continue to work. And this is where your income is no longer tied to your time. So you create that book, and that book continues to live in bookshelves, in bookstores. You create that online class, and that online class continues to live on a platform or on your hub. You create something once that has value over time, or you create a digital product, brushes, downloadables, things that are unique to your work that other people can use, and you continue to sell that over time. And you're building something that can grow alongside your practice. And a great example of this is Vera Dramanovsky. You may know Vera on social media. I work with Vera and help her build her business as a lettering artist. And Vera is such a great example, first, of motivation. She went all in, and she became proficient at creating lettering, and she found her place in book cover design. And Vera creates this very intricate designs that you see on screen with this flower and flourishes. And what happened to Vera is that at some point, people started asking her how was she creating this type of artwork, because it's so elaborate, so intricate, that they started asking Vera, hey, how do you do this? How do you create that artwork? Which brushes do you use? And what Vera did is that she put on sale or to sell the brushes she was already using. So she took an asset that she had created for herself, for accelerating her own process, for using in her own work, and she put that to work. She put that to, she shared that with other creatives. So she put that online on a shop, and she started selling that brush. So she created, through her style, through building her style, through building a very, very unique type of work, she was able to then take that asset and make it live beyond her client work. So you see how all of these creatives were able to first infuse lettering or the skill set into their work. Then they started expanding their reach as they became more proficient, or as they expanded also their portfolio. And then through the body of work they had created, they were able to create these assets, and put them out there. And another example of that I can give you for myself, you have seen that I published 3 books. So the Golden Tickets of Lettering, Make It, and The Big Leap. And these books are also the same. I would say they follow the same concept. I have conceptualized, I have packaged a piece of knowledge that I have because I have enough experience in this world. So I have packaged that knowledge in a way that it can live beyond myself. It can live beyond myself in the sense that it can reach other people. It can continue to be sold regardless of whether I am working or not. So this is a product that was made once and it sells, right? So I want you to think for yourself. Thinking of those layers, it feels easier, right? It feels easier because it's not about revamping everything you have done. It's not about revamping all of the things that you have done. And this doesn't mean you need to do all of this. What matters is choosing the combination that makes sense for you. So what is the combination that works for you and what you want to build, right? And I want you to think about all of these elements that I mentioned, this idea of like layering instead of, because I know that many of you that are here, you are, perhaps you feel that you have, in order to infuse more interesting work in the work that you do every day, in order to go deep into this journey, you need to start over. And I felt the same myself. You need to start over in the sense that you need to revamp your entire portfolio if you have an online portfolio. You need to just create a new identity for yourself, right? And the opposite is true. The best way you can get into this world is to think of it as, or to apply this skill, is to think of it as layers. How can you slowly infuse more of this work in what you're already doing? Then how can you expand your reach? And then how can you create assets or package things that you know and have created and have learned about into something that can live beyond yourself. And one thing I want to remind you is this concept that I talked to you about throughout all of these sessions, which is when you become an expert at something, when you become really good at something, this becomes really easy. And we tend to think that when you double down on one thing and you specialize, for instance, in lettering design, and this is what I felt in the beginning, the possibilities will close up. And the opposite is true. Because you see the world through one lens, it gives you so many different ideas, so many different ways to generate income, because you know exactly what you're talking about. You get ideas to the next products you can create. You get ideas of the next clients you can work with. You get more ideas on what is the content that you're going to create for social media to generate visibility or to become more visible. So remember that concept. So remember that you don't need to do everything. You need to just do a combination that makes sense for you based on where you are and where you want to go. And that is exactly what we have been looking at in the roadmap. So these things don't happen all at once, right? And in the roadmap on Friday, where I show you the entire lettering roadmap, you have seen that everything has an order. It's not like disconnected elements, but everything has an order. First, you learn to train your typographic eye. Then you move on to understanding the foundations of letter forms. Then once you understand how letter forms are created, you move on to trying or to expanding your vocabulary as a lettering designer, and you try different lettering styles, and then you start applying that in your own work, and you start creating a project, and you start by using pencil on paper, and once that sketch on paper is looking good enough, you move on to the digitalization, and then comes all the layering and all the refinement. And once you have that one lettering piece that you're proud of, you create the next one and the next one and the next one, and you build a portfolio. And once you build a portfolio, you can start attracting client work. And once you start attracting client work, you can start building a business around what you're doing. And everything in that roadmap has a progression, right? Everything has a defined set of steps, and they follow a progression, so they build on top of each other step by step, right? And what matters is not doing everything, it's knowing what to focus on next. So your effort actually moves you forward. Now, I want to share with you the fourth golden secrets of lettering, which is, I'm gonna move the screen to, let me just change the layout right here, which is hidden in that golden ampersand behind me. And for those that have been collecting the four secrets of lettering, this one reads, progress comes from following a structure, not from doing more, right? And you have seen throughout this series that it's really about that structure. So write it down with this fourth secret of lettering, collecting all four secrets of lettering that I share with you throughout the series. You will be able to enter the raffle for 3 Adobe Creative Cloud subscriptions. And you will be able to enter the raffle on April 1st on our replays hub. So where you have the replays, you will find a link to enter the raffle. So write it down. Excellent. For those that have been collecting all secrets, there you go. So progress really comes from following a structure and not from doing more. It comes from sticking to a structure. And I know that for us creatives is really tough. It's really tough because we believe that being creative is being chaotic and doing things crazy all the time. And what we tend to do, especially when we are motivated, is to try a bit of everything. We try tutorials, we try inspiration, we try different styles, we jump from one thing to the next. And it feels like you're doing a lot. You feel like you're learning a lot, but nothing really builds on top of each other, right? And this is why you're also here as well, because you want to understand what the roadmap is. And this is why the workshop is called the Lettering Roadmap, because I know that many of you are missing that roadmap. I know that I was missing that roadmap myself. And what actually creates progression is repetition, is working through the right things in the right order until they become part of how you work, until they become second nature. I always say that the process is always the same, and what changes is the result. But the process is that repeatable process that you use over and over again. And this is what really, I think many of us creatives feel lost about, that we don't stick to a process. We don't know what the process is, but we don't stick to a process. We feel that this process, in order to be creative, it needs to be crazy and new every time. And I believe, and I've seen that the opposite is true. When you have a process, when you have a system, you can follow that system, and the the magic happens in between. What is surprising is the result, not the process, right? If the process is repeatable, you learn it. It becomes second nature. You know what's coming next. And this is exactly what you have experienced this week. You didn't just consume content, you followed a structure. You built on top of each session. You made decisions based on that, right? And this is why it felt different, because you were really building, following a structure. We gave you a calendar, we gave you a set timeline, and we gave you also what that progression was going to look like. And that's why it felt different. That's why many of you have done tremendous progress throughout this week. Now, I want you to look at what you have done this week, because that is progress. And it didn't happen by chance. It happened because you showed up, right? First, you showed up. You allocated time. You stick to the timeline, right? So first, it happened because you showed up. This experience doesn't exist if you are not there. So we are co-creating this experience. So yes, you showed up, but also because there was this structure, right? There was a clear progression. There was guidance. There was a group moving in the same direction. And there was me, guiding you all along the way. And that combination is what really creates movement. Is what really keeps you moving forward. And what you have experienced this week, even in a short format, is a simplified version of a much bigger system. And this is a system to help you move from learning to building real work to applying it professionally. And is the one I used to go from trying things and not seeing progress. These were my results when I was just starting with lettering and trying to do things on my own, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. This is the system that took me from here to create work that I'm really proud of, and that gave me the confidence to go all the way with my work and charge for it and build a professional career with it, right? That is how important it can be to really understand the path, understand the process, and see the results. I remember that when I started seeing that I could do this, I started having confidence in what I could do. When I started seeing results in my work, that changed everything for me. That changed everything because I knew that I could do it. I just had to go out there with my work and make it happen and put it in front of people and find opportunities with my skills. And I did it through following that roadmap that I share with you and that progression that I'm using in this series of workshops. And that is a system also that I built inside the Lettering Seminar, which is a structure, is my signature program, as many of you know. I know that many of you are here because of this program, and we are opening registrations for this program during this week. And if you're interested in going deeper and continuing your path with me, I'd love to tell you more about it. But first, I need your permission. First, I need you to drop a yes in the chat so that I can tell you more about the Lettering Seminar 2026. Inside the program, we guide you through the full process, through the full roadmap. We help you build your core skills, develop strong, polished work, and turn that into a portfolio that can attract real opportunities. So let me know in the chat if you want me to tell you a little bit about the Lettering Seminar 2026, because this is the 3.0 version of the program. And I'm so excited about this version because it has made an incredible leap, and we have an incredible group of instructors teaching the program with me. Oh, yes, I see. Yes, Jeremiah, Julieta, Eduardo. Yes, amazing. Virgin, Valentina, amazing. So I am going to tell you about the program. And you will see also how interesting it is to see how a system and a structure makes sense. All of the things that we have seen throughout this week, they will click and they will make sense when you see this program. However, before we get into the details, let's take a step back, because in order to master both the craft and the business of lettering, we need to understand where you're starting from. Because I know that many of you are at the beginning and you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of resources out there, and you're trying to put the puzzle together, and you want to create lettering work that you're really proud of, um, which is so powerful. It was so powerful to me. And I know that it is very powerful. It could be very powerful for all of you. And others have been doing lettering for a while here in this group. And I know many of your work because some of you have been in the VIP track with me, and I've seen you posting your work in the community. So now I know that others have been doing lettering for a while, and you're looking to monetize your skills and build a career around it. And you're here because you want to move forward and make progress. But something hasn't quite clicked yet. And the reality is that more than talent or time, what often holds people back are the patterns that we fall into without noticing. These patterns, they keep us stuck quietly, but consistently. They keep us stuck. These are habits, and habits are the hardest thing for us to change, right? And I know that dealing with that self-doubt and frustration is part of that, because this is when that internal voice, I spoke about this mind radio, as I'll call it, gets louder. And you start asking yourself things like, do I really have what it takes to create a strong work? Perhaps I wasn't born with it, and I just don't have what it takes. And this is not a great feeling. I've been there, but it's also a very common one. And to be honest, many successful lettering artists and designers have been there too. I've been there too, right? And I remember sitting down to work in this at my desk, which I show you in the first session of this workshop series, which was also my bedroom at the time. And I remember myself sitting down to work and thinking, am I really cut out for this? Do I really have what it takes to create work that people will actually pay for? Because the truth is that most of us, we find it hard to believe that someone will pay us to do work that we will be doing anyways. So who will pay me for doing something I will be doing anyways, just for fun, just because I love doing this? And at some point I realized something really important. And I realized that I could either let those thoughts stop me, right? This second guessing, this mind radio, or I could take that same energy I was spending on second guessing myself and use it to move forward, because second guessing yourself really drains your energy. And you know how exhausting it can be. And that energy doesn't disappear, it just needs repurposing, it needs direction. So if you are able to repurpose that energy that goes into second guessing and wanting to do the thing, but actually not doing it, what actually makes it different is a difference is taking action, and not random action, but the one that moves you forward. And then the question then becomes, what actions actually do that? So I will show you that in just a minute. But before we get into that, let's look at the facts. Every year, there are designers and creatives just like you, learning, lettering, develop strong work, and turning that into income. And I see that happening every year inside my program, inside my community. And you have seen some of those examples throughout these sessions. Juanma, you have seen Vera, Alana, you have seen, I talked to you about Andrea. So all of these stories that I told you are real life stories that I've have witnessed myself. And there's many others. And I see this happening every day inside my community. In fact, there are more people doing this today than ever before. With the tools, the resources, and access that we have right now, it has never been more possible to learn this skill and apply it professionally, really. 15 years ago when I started, things looked different. Lettering wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even a discipline. I had to explain my clients, and I show you this in one of the first sessions. I had to explain my clients what lettering was. I had this, let me just show you in the big screen. I had this hanging in my studio wall to explain clients what lettering was. Nowadays, you don't need to explain anybody about what lettering is. Lettering is an established expertise. Brands, companies, they know the value it has. Now, we have, it has never been easier. Or it has never been more accessible, which doesn't mean it's easy. Anything worth doing requires an effort. Anything worth doing requires an effort, and you need to know that. You need to know that none of the people you follow on social media or that you admire have built their careers from one day to the other. That doesn't happen. But if you invest yourself in it, if you invest your time, as you have done throughout this series, and you can see how much progress you have done, things can happen for you. But what I want to say is that the conditions we have today make it a really good time to take it very seriously, especially if you're committed to developing both the craft and the business side of lettering, which I think is very important. It's not only about creating beautiful, solid work, but also about putting that in front of people so that you get hired to do work you love. Because that opens up the opportunity to create work you're proud of and getting paid for doing something you care about, which I think is so powerful. So I want to ask you in the chat, how would that feel for many of you? And I know I asked you this in previous sessions because, what brings us together here is lettering, is learning the skill of lettering design. But at the end of the day, what we are talking about is about something bigger. It's about infusing our days with something that is meaningful to us, making our work life more interesting, more creative. So let me know in the chat, how would that make you feel if you had the opportunity to create work you're proud of and get paid for doing something you care about? Let me know in the chat. And there's another piece that often gets overlooked, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So Paula is saying that would be so awesome. Yes, that makes so much. I feel like, and I mentioned this in the first session, we invest so much time in work. And I think it makes so much sense to invest time into making that work life interesting, creative, meaningful for us. So Bianchi is saying it would feel so fulfilling and empowering. Gabriel is saying the best feeling ever. Federico is saying I will have peace of mind. It will stop that mind radio. Jimena is saying I would love it, that I can do what makes me happy. Tracy is saying life will be fun again. So you see how we are talking about something that is bigger than just the skill of lettering. The skill of lettering is really the instrument, is using something that we feel passionate about, that we enjoy doing, to infuse more of that into our work lives. And I've shown you today how is that possible and how that gradually can take place. And there's another piece that often gets overlooked, and that has to do with being around other people who are on the same path, people who are also committed to improving their work and building something with it, people like you. I remember that when I was starting out, I joined a typographic community here in Germany, and it had a real impact on me simply because I was in a space with people who were already making a living doing what I wanted to do. It made things feel more tangible, more possible. And that became possible for me. And that's something you don't get when you're figuring everything out on your own, when you're like in your bubble. This is the kind of environment we can create today, that we have created throughout this workshop series, and that you can extend in time. And it's a big part of why I care so much about helping designers develop this skill properly. And that's also the reason why I created the Lettering Seminar, my signature program. So let me tell you about this program. This program is for you if you're a lettering artist, or an aspiring lettering artist, or a designer who is just getting started and feel like you're not making real progress. It is also for you if you have been doing lettering for a while. So it really covers the entire roadmap, and it welcomes students in every stage of the journey. And the lettering seminar is my signature program. It's designed to support you in that process, because reaching your creative goals takes more than just consuming information, than just consuming those tutorials and those TikToks. It requires you to approach your work differently and stay open as you learn and actually apply what you are learning. And inside the lettering seminar, we create these conditions for that, so that you can focus on what matters without getting pulled in different directions. We give you a structure with a certain progression. And that is one of the reasons why the program is built. The backbone of the program is the entire roadmap, from developing your skills to refining your work to applying it professionally. It brings everything you need to develop both the craft and the business of lettering in one place. The entire roadmap, the roadmap that you have seen throughout this series, this is what the program is built on. This is the backbone of the program. So let's take a minute and look at what is in the curriculum of the lettering seminar and how we will help you learn and master this skill of lettering design much easier and faster. So the program is designed for designers and creatives, regardless of where you are in your journey and regardless of your background. And it's in a structure step by step, so you always know what to focus on and your effort actually leads to progress. It is organized in 6 modules, which are delivered over 8 weeks. And during that time, I'm there guiding you through the full process so that you can really develop strong work and start applying it professionally. And I know that there's many alumni in the chat, so you can also let our in the chat, you can also let me know what you thought about the program, because I know that this year many alumni are coming back. In fact, a third of the spots are already taken by alumni, which is amazing, and I'm super happy to have you back. So here's a quick overview of what you will learn inside the seminar. We start with foundations of lettering. As I mentioned before, every discipline has its rules, and to work with lettering, you need to understand them. You will train your typographic eye and learn the key principles that shape strong letter forms. And this is where we focus on the fundamentals, and we focus also on calligraphy as a core foundation. Then we will explore lettering styles, you will expand your visual vocabulary, and you will begin developing your own approach. So you will learn how to find inspiration. You will also translate that into your own work, which is a very important step in creating your own style. From there, we move into hand sketching. So you will learn a repeatable process, again, to build your lettering from the ground up. It's a process that is effective, efficient, and is based also in professional experience. And it will help you move past the idea that you don't know how to draw. And you will see how, through this repeatable process, you will be able to create a strong work. Then we move into the digital stage, and you will learn how to digitize on Adobe Illustrator. And this will give you another level of precision, control, and will give you the capability to finish your lettering. Next, we focus on building a portfolio and preparing your work for real opportunities. So you will learn how to present your work, how to position it, and you will start approaching your first paid clients. And lastly, we look at how to build a sustainable practice around your lettering skills. So we cover everything, aspects of branding, audience building, the different ways in which you can generate income with your work, these income streams that we were talking about today. And this year, we are incorporating a satellite module called AI as Creative Assistant for Designers, not to replace your creativity, but to explore faster, refine, better, and expand your workflow, all while keeping control over your creative work. I personally believe that the future of lettering belongs to designers who master both the craft and the tools. And we want you to stay ahead of the curve in the industry. Tools have changed tremendously in the last years, and we want you to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to tools and workflows. So as soon as you join the lettering seminar, you will get access to the private student area. You will begin right away with the first module. From there, the rest of the modules are released weekly. So we will have enrollment in the next week. Then on the April 1st, we start with a live opening ceremony where I welcome you inside the program, where the team also gives you a proper onboarding on where to find the things. You will be welcome inside the program. And from then on, every week, we release a new module and progress is made throughout this week. So the modules are released in the form of bite-sized trainings and resources that you can implement right away. You will also learn from a group of instructors that I brought together for this year. I will let you know more about that in a moment because it is stellar, really. But for best results, in case you are wondering how much time it would take you to go through the program, we see students dedicating around 2 to 4 hours per week to go through the material. And of course, the time you spend applying depends on yourself. And it will depend on your experience, your pace, your life. We have designed the program in a way that can adapt to your life because we welcome adults, adults that have family, other jobs. So we make sure that the program is designed in a way that you can adapt it to your life. And you will have lifetime access, so you can revisit the material whenever you need. And you will continue coming back to the program over time because you will learn new things every time you go through the program. And throughout the program, you will be supported with weekly Q&As with me. So you make sure you move forward. If you have questions, I will be there answering those questions. And these questions are really, having the opportunity to ask questions, to submit your questions, it really helps you move forward. These are those small questions and big questions are the ones that keep you from progressing. So we make sure that we cover those throughout the program. You also have access to community sessions. These are focused working sessions where you can show up, you can exchange ideas, you can get feedback, you can interact with the community. So if you ever struggle to make time for your work, this creates really the space to do it. This creates the space where everybody comes together and do the work. Even if life got on the way throughout the week, you will have this space where you come and you do the work. And the program is supported with a private community platform. For those VIPs that were with us, you have experienced that platform. It's like a Facebook group, but cool, without the distractions. And this is where all of the designers and creatives that come into the program are working together. And it's a space where you share your work, you get feedback, you stay connected to others, and you learn together. And you will have access to me and our instructors and our support team inside that platform. So you can continuously ask questions and we will be there answering them. We also have a team that gives you support throughout the program. This team these are all alumni that have gone through the program themselves. So they understand their journey perfectly. And it's great because they will be answering ongoing questions on the platform and giving you support. Now, if you're wondering whether this program is for you, the program or the people who benefit most from the lettering seminar are those who are committed, open-minded, and really committed to developing their skills. And we welcome students from everywhere in the world. What you have lived in this workshop series, this is a great example of how our classroom looks like. And I love the accessibility of the program, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So if you're a designer or a creative who wants to develop the skill of lettering as a serious skill and create work you're proud of, this program is for you. This program shows you everything you need. Someone like Amy, for instance, Amy came into the lettering seminar in 2024. Amy Frank, who took a break. Amy took a break from her career to raise her family. And when she decided to build something for herself again, she joined the lettering seminar. She developed the strong work, and she also gained the confidence to start her freelance practice. So the lettering seminar is also for you if you want a structured path that helps you move from experimentation to professional execution. Like Oz is a pattern designer who wanted to integrate lettering into her work, which is, as you know, many illustrators are looking to integrate language and meaning, and she wanted to do it at the same level of her pattern design work, and expanding also through that the kind of clients she could work with. And it's also for you if you are ready to, work on your craft, understand how lettering works in real work context, so applying it professionally and move forward with paid opportunities. Like David, I spoke about David, who is a motion designer from Switzerland and who added lettering to his portfolio after the program and went on to land projects designing movie titles using his lettering skills. So if you see yourself in any of these examples and you are ready to go serious with this, then the lettering seminar is a great place to do that. So how else are you supported throughout this process? The lettering seminar is a complete program. And there are additional resources that help you really move forward, get your questions answered, move beyond just consuming content. And each year we invite a group of experienced designers and lettering artists to contribute to the program. And the lineup is unique to that year. So the lineup of this year is unique to this year. You won't be able to access that lineup in other versions of the program next year. And what is great is that they bring different approaches, different areas of expertise, and also real world experience. These are all working designers. So let me introduce to the instructors of this year. We will have Ken Barber, which is a lettering artist and designer. This is one of the masters out there in his craft. You will have an exclusive Q&A with him, learning how he approaches his work, how he developed his style, and how you can do the same as well. We'll have logo designer James Barnard. James will talk about visibility, how to present your work online, how to show up consistently, and how to attract the right kind of attention for your projects. We will have licensing artist or lettering artist, Jessica Molina, who is also a licensing artist. Jessica will speak about how licensing works, from creating work that connects with brands all the way to building opportunities with it. We also have Snooze One, who is gonna focus on experimental lettering, and it will show you, how you can expand your toolbox of tools to create lettering. We have lettering artist Alana Flowers, which I already introduced before, and she will introduce you to tools like Procreate and Adobe Fresco, which are additional tools you can integrate in your process. Then we have Easy Start in Adobe Illustrator with Elias Prado. Elias is our digital master, and it will help you get comfortable using Adobe Illustrator for your lettering workflow, specifically using an efficient technique to draw letter forms that I talked to you about, the extreme points technique. And with me, you have a dedicated session on pricing your work. So how to approach that in a way that reflects the value of your work without second guessing, which is one of the things we do when we put price on your work. We don't know how to do it. Lastly, we will host a Q&A with the design software Marcus Wrench, who is the one who helped me create the AI module. And he knows every inch of the tools you will be using. So that is going to be especially helpful. But please look at this lineup of instructors that you will be learning from in the Learning Seminar 2026. I still can't believe it. I am so proud of all the work that my team and I have put into engaging this amazing lineup of instructors. And I'm so happy that you will get access to them if you decide to join us inside the program. I don't think that you get the chance to learn from them in any other place. And the sessions that they will be offering inside the program are really unique to the program. They are thought for the program itself. So if you decide to join in the next 24 hours, you will also receive a ticket to our 2-day virtual summer retreat, which is a life experience focused on applying what you have learned and also regaining focus on your work. This live retreat happens in the middle of the summer 2026, and this is, I would say, is the back to school for us. And many of our of the participants of this retreat, they come to the retreat because they are kind of like using the experience to go back to school. This is a very in-depth experience, and it's a beautiful one. So all of these contributions are really to help you move forward in your learning. They complement the core content, and it also helps you apply it in different directions. And each of these sessions has been selected intentionally to help you move forward in a way that is structured, that is practical, and that is easier to apply. So someone is asking in the chat about the retreat, and the retreat is online. The retreat is online, the program is online, everything happens virtually, and I love the fact that it allows for everybody to join from wherever they are in the world, especially being a person who had to move overseas, leave a lot of things behind to get the education that I wanted. And I am so happy that I can offer, and nowadays we can offer an education to this level, all online. But one thing that I want to tell you is that everything happens online, but the experience is very real. The connections that you will make inside the program are very real. Many of our members become best buddies. I personally have met with many of our students throughout time. I followed their journey. They have become part of our life. We know every student that comes inside the program, and therefore this is happening online, but it's a very personal, real experience. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to show you what makes the lettering seminar, the leader program in lettering design. And there are a few reasons behind it. It is not just the content. It is not just the system or the group of instructors that we bring every year together. It's also how accessible the program is. You will have first lifetime access to all materials, so you can revisit them whenever you need. You can continue to build on them over time. The program is also available in Spanish, Portuguese, French, and German, and you can access the program both in mobile and desktop, so it fits into your schedule. You can join classes from the car. We have a lot of students joining from their lunch break at work. And is accessible because we have also included a 100% money back guarantee. This program has supported hundreds of creators in developing their work, and I'm confident it can support you too. At the same time, I want you to feel comfortable making this decision. So you can join the program, you can try the lettering seminar for 14 days, for 2 weeks. And if you go through the material and you feel that it's not the right fit for you, you can simply email us to academy@martinaflor.com and we will send you a refund. And this is something that I guarantee. We don't want any students that doesn't want to be in the program. We want students that feel that this is the place for them to be. This is the place for them to develop. And we're here for the long run. So if you don't want to be in the program, if you think it's not for you, we will send you a refund after 14 days. Now, by now, you have seen that the lettering seminar is designed to do this thing that you want to do. So it's designed to help you move forward, learn the skill of lettering, and all the way to applying it professionally. And you have seen how we have created this system that helps you move forward. And you have tried that throughout this workshop series. You have experienced that firsthand. At the same time, you always have alternatives, right? So let's look at them. What would it look like if you try and learn this on your own? What would it look like if you're trying to piece all the things together, from books, tutorials, YouTube videos, short tips on Instagram and TikTok? Many of you have probably already tried that, spending hours through content, but without really getting that progression, this clear direction, this system that you can build on top of one another. And there's, of course, the option of doing nothing. There's the option of saying, okay, I'm not moving forward, staying where you are, without building the work that you know you're capable of, right? And I believe there's another way. And I also have tried that myself in my own journey. And I've seen many students doing that in my programs. Because when you adapt the time spent trying to figure things out alone, and the frustration also that comes from not seeing progress, it starts to become clear what's missing. And for me, education has played a pivotal role in the different stages of my career. When I was starting out, learning lettering design in a structured way really changed how I approach my work and what I was able to do with it. And I told you the story about me moving overseas, signing up for a type design program, which was the closest thing to the education I wanted to have, investing all of my savings in that experience because it was a 1-year program. And later, when I was growing my business, so when I took that leap into launching my business as a lettering artist and designer, I had to invest in learning again because I needed to learn the business side of things. I was moving to a completely different stage. So at each point, it wasn't about more effort. It was about having the right structure and the guidance. And that's what really, really accelerated my progress. And often that is what's standing between where you are and your next step, right? And that's exactly why I created the lettering seminar, to give you that structured path to develop your skills and to move forward. And I know how transformative it can be to move forward in this path. So let's take a look again to all of the things you will get access to when you access the class 2026. You will have lifetime access to the lettering seminar. You will have lifetime access to the AI module, satellite module, as a creative assistant. You will have access to our exclusive community group. You will have the support of the expert team, access to weekly live Q&As and connection sessions inside the program during the 8 weeks of the program. You will have access to all of the sessions with our dream team of instructors: Ken Barber, James Barnard, Jessica Molina, Snooze One, Alana Flowers, Elias Prado, and myself, and including a Q&A with the software expert so that you can ask all of the nitty-gritty questions of managing a software and understanding all the details and the hacks and the shortcuts. And if you join in the next 24 hours, you will get a free ticket to the Art and Business of Lettering yearly retreat, which is happening in the middle of the year. So in summer, that is going to be our back to school for lettering designers. So the investment is 6 payments of $299, or you can enroll with one payment of $1,650 and save $182. I will walk you through the entire process step by step so that you can start creating lettering work you are proud of and start applying it professionally. If you follow the process, you will make progress. And that's why we give you the 14 days money back guarantee. If you come in the program and you feel this is not for you, you can ask for a refund. By the way, those that are in Europe, you can also pay in euros. So you just need to select that option on the site. Now, the registration period, you can go to theletteringseminar.com. Roma, who is helping me moderate the chat, is going to post the link in the chat. Just go to the link and click on the link to go to the site and enroll and join us. The registration periods will be closing on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. We do this so that we can cater to all the new students coming through, and it won't open again until next year. So the lettering seminar happens once a year, and it's similar to a college class. Once the registration period is complete, everyone begins. We close registrations until next year. Everyone begins together in the class, and my team and myself are there to support you throughout the journey. So deadline to register it is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So click on the link in the chat. Go to theletteringseminar.com to enroll and join us this year. For those that enroll during the first 24 hours, you will get a free ticket to the Art and Business of Lettering retreat, which is a 2 days virtual, happening all online experience, which you will love, I tell you. Now, as you think about it, and I know that many of you are clicking on the link in the chat that Roma is sharing with you. So you will find the link to go to the site of the Lettering Seminar and enroll. Just to mention that 1/3 of the spots have been taken already by alumni that are coming back to the program this year. So keep that in mind, that if you are decided to do this, join us today. Join us today. You will also get the ticket to the Art and Business of Lettering yearly retreat. Now, as you think about your decision, just keep this in mind. If you have been feeling stuck when it comes to learning and developing your lettering skills, or you have been trying to figure out how to turn that into something sustainable, into professional opportunities, that's really a common place to be. We have all been there. For most people, the real challenge is not lack of motivation, and it's not the fact that they cannot do this. This is a skill, and it's something that all of you can learn to the same level that you have learned any other skill. So the challenge is really trying to fit this into everything else that's already going on. So your time and attention are constantly being pulled in different directions, and it becomes really difficult to stay consistent. And I know that many of you are adults, you have other things happening in life, kids, family, work, and oftentimes we are pulled in different directions by urgencies. But that can change. When you decide to make this a priority and you have a structure, you have a place, you have a, as I call it, a container where you can come and do the work, and you have a structure where you know what to do next, things start to move. And doing, doing that type of work can really change the way you experience every day. Doing work that you're really proud of can really change the way you experience everyday work. So I ask you throughout the sessions, what would life look like? What would your work and your day-to-day look like if you could take your develop your skills further? And many of you told me, share with me in the first session, how would that look like? Sophie said it would be amazing. I want to create more original work. It would make me really happy. So it seems that this is, as I said, we're talking here about something more, about infusing something meaningful into your everyday work. So join us inside the Learning Seminar. We are positive that this, following the progression, following the system that we have built inside the Lettering Seminar, being supported by our dream team of instructors, our support team, and being immersed in a community like this one really makes you move forward. So we're gonna post the link again on the chat. Roma is gonna post the link to go to the site and enroll to the Lorraine seminar. Join us there. And I'm going to stay here to answer your questions, as I always do. But because I want to make sure that you make an informed decision about joining this program. And I'm going to move on to the questions that Roma has sent me over here. So Vicky is asking, and this is a big one, and I think will answer many of your questions. Is it okay to join the lettering seminar if you're a total novice in lettering art? Yes, Vicky. In fact, I think this is the best step forward. You will be starting with a strong foundation. You will be starting from with the right step, with the right foot. You will be starting by creating a strong foundation. So you will. I think that one challenge that we experience is that we perhaps have acquired different processes or different techniques from here and there, and many of the things that, or one of the biggest challenges is that we have to unlearn certain things that we have learned the wrong way, right? So in your case, Vicky, when you're starting from scratch, that gives you the great opportunity of starting with the right foot, starting with the right foundations, taking that progression, right? So you're not distracted in different directions. Something important about the program is that the program opens a new module every week, and we do that for a reason. We do that because we have seen that this keeps our students focused on the step they are in and the module they are in, and that helps you avoid the temptation of jumping between content, which is what you perhaps are doing by absorbing all this different input from the internet, right? So Vicky, if you are, and for everybody who feel beginners or who identify themselves as beginners, having that progression, having that clear clear set of steps, and you will be starting with the right foot, and it will allow you to focus on what's important to learn at each stage. So be sure that if you are just starting in this journey, this will be like the right way to start. So Vicky, Roma is gonna drop the link in the chat. Click on the link and you can join us inside the lettering seminar. I am so excited about this year's program. Seriously, is again is the 3.0 version of the program. We have started this program as a small program in 2016. So you can imagine that in almost a 10-year journey, the program has changed a lot, has improved, has been polished, has been adjusted so many different times. And we believe that each year is the best version of that program. So, Vicky, again to your question. There's another question of yours. Okay, I see Vicky's and Joanna's question about the timings. First, Joanna is asking how many hours a week do you feel a person needs to get the most out of the seminar and the practice? So we see students investing between 2 to 4 hours per week. So with 1 hour, you can go through the modules of the program, these bite-sized lessons that you can watch at your own pace. Now, throughout, each week there is live sessions, and those sessions last between 1 hour for the live trainings, and the Q&As are extensive. So I stay there until I answer all of the questions. So those Q&As could last between 1 hour to 2.5 hours. And that is great for our students because they can join at any time, and they can stay as long as they want as well. And everybody is able to submit questions. So that means that even if you're not able to join the live Q&As, you can submit questions and you can have your question answered. So that is important. Even if you are not able to join a certain live session, you can submit questions and I will answer that question in the session, and we will let you know when that question was answered in that session. So, Joanna, to answer how many hours a person needs, you will need between 2 to 4 hours per week. And of course, if you want to dedicate more, which there's many students of ours that dedicate more time, you can do so. And I would say that you will want to do so. It's really incredible how much the momentum of the program, the momentum of the community, the connection, and the inspiration really, and the clear progression that helps our students feel like they are doing progress, they are making progress, that creates amazing motivation. So every student, as they come in the program, they start seeing progress and they want more. Because they see the progress that they haven't been able to achieve on their own. So yes. But going back to your timing question, that is what you would expect to invest per week. And Vicky, will the lettering seminar be at a certain time in the day? I'm based in the UK, so can it be virtual learning? Of course. So this is all happening online. At the same time, this is a very real program. Real in the sense that you will be speaking to me on a Zoom call, asking questions, you will be connecting with real people, you will make real connections, you create real work. And the sessions happen, we accommodate students from different time zones. The sessions happen normally at this time. So if you were all able to join the sessions throughout this week, you will be able to join the lettering seminar sessions without a problem. All right, let me move on to the next question. Melanie, why are alumni taking the course again? Because the lettering seminar is a pretty amazing experience. And it's unique every year. Unique not because the roadmap changes, but because the community is different. So every cohort is different, and every every lineup of instructors is different. So the dream team that I share with you is different every year. It's unique to that year. And alumni take the course again because every time they go through the course, they learn something new. And the course itself is an experience. And I invite you to go to the website, click on the link that Roma just shared on the site. Sorry, on the chat. And Roma, perhaps you can share the link to the testimonials page, because we have over 100 testimonials from students that have gone through the program. And you will see that in that page where you will see the testimonials. There's a lot of testimonials of students that have gone through the program several times. And every time they go through the program again, they get fresh inspiration. They create a new piece of work that they are proud of, that is better than anything else that they have created before. They regain motivation because of that momentum that the program creates. And I'm so passionate about talking about the program because I know that it was life-changing for many students. And again, it sounds like a big claim to say that a lettering design program is life-changing. But when you think about the impact that creating work that you're proud of can have in your own confidence, in your own work, in your own future as a professional, then it can be life-changing. And you will see that in the testimonials page. So Roma just shared the success stories. You will see it. You can click on that link and go see the over 100 stories from students that have gone through the program. And there's several that say like, it was one of those life experiences because the program is really an experience beyond the professional progression, beyond the skill set that you will acquire and learn. The program itself, connecting with the community, realizing how this and understanding and implementing how this can take part in your work. That's why alumni come back. And Federico, that also answers your question. And Sved, that also answers your question then. Melanie, Sved, Federico, students come back because the program is just an experience and it changes every year. What changes is not the roadmap. The roadmap is the roadmap, and this is the backbone of the program. But what changes is the community and the instructors that are teaching each cohort. And every time our students come back, they learn something new. So I'm going to move on to, so click on the link that is in the chat. Roma just posted the link to enroll in the program. So if you're decided, if you think that this is the program for you, join us. I'm super excited about the class 2026. And if you want to go deeper into learning the skill, incorporating it professionally, I am looking forward to welcome you inside the program. So click on the link in the chat and you can enroll today. So Jennifer is asking, is it required to work on Adobe Illustrator or are other illustration programs acceptable? Jennifer, great question. And I know this is a big one for our potential students. In fact, we have on the site, we have a specific section where we explain why we teach Adobe Illustrator. And there's a reason for that. The reason is that Adobe Illustrator is the professional standard. So if you go after the program, you go get an in-house or you apply for in-house jobs, and design jobs, or if you go out there to work professionally with clients, you will be required to work with the Adobe software. This is the industry standard, is the most widespread software in the design industry, and this is why we teach this software. Now, If you are using other software, vectorization software of your preference, all of the things that we teach inside the program, so this specific technique that we teach to draw letter forms in vectors, this is something that you can apply to any other vectorization program. So know that we teach Adobe Illustrator because it's the industry standard, and it's what will be required to work professionally or to work in in-house positions. But if you work with other vector software of your preference, all of the things that we teach can be applied to any other vector software. So, Jennifer, to your question, it won't be a roadblock to use any other vectorization program if you come into the program, if you come into the lettering seminar. So I hope that answers that question, which is usually a technical question that many potential students ask. You can also go check this specific part in our site where we speak about why we teach Adobe Illustrator, because as the industry standard, we teach that program. And Roma is going to drop the link. You can click on the link in the chat and go to the site and read an extensive explanation of why we teach that software. So Jennifer, I hope that clarifies your question and that you will join us this year. More questions. More questions. Okay, so Joanna is asking about the time zones. The time zones. Oh, a lot of questions here. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. I'm gonna try to cover all of them so that you make an informed decision whether this program is for you or not. So, Joanna, which time zone is best for most of the live cohort sessions in the lettering seminar? Thanks. So, Joanna, Joanne. As I said, most of the live sessions happen more or less in this time. So if you have been able to join these sessions, you will be able to join most of the sessions inside the lettering seminar. And we allocate the sessions specifically in these times because we accommodate students from across the globe. So we know that by offering sessions in these times, we accommodate most of the students. Some of them will join very early in the morning for them. Some of them will join in the evening for them. So this is why the sessions occur in this time. However, they vary 1-2 hours earlier or later, so that you have a few options. With that said, I want to say that there's several touch points inside the program. And most of our students don't come to all of them because they feel like they were in this live session and they don't need to go to the next session, or perhaps they ask the questions already on the platform, so they don't need to come to the Q&A. So know that even if you miss 1, 2, 3 live sessions, for most of our students, this happens because you have other things in life, but also because there is several touch points. So our students, they take the touch points that work for them, and they use the community platform often because this is the place where most of the interaction happens in between, right? So knowing that you have several options to join live to the sessions. And if you cannot join live, you will have the replays to all of the sessions, and you will have lifetime access to those replays. So, Polly is asking, will the lettering seminar include the stunning lettering workshop? I love it. Polly, you have been with us for a long time, I believe. You have been in our email list for a long time, because the stunning lettering workshop is a workshop that we offered many years ago, and it's a workshop that shows how to add decoration to your letter forms. Now, this is part of the program. So the adding decoration and flourish to your work, it is part of the program already. So you don't need the stunning lettering workshop as an additional workshop. You have it already inside the program. Also, during the Q&As, we go deeper into this. This is a hot topic. So the adding decoration to your work is a hot topic. So it often gets asked how to add decoration to your work, or how do I add decoration to this specific lettering piece? And oftentimes I would do demos on how to do that. Last year, I remember I did a demo on the exact configuration of flourishes for keeping your composition balance. And I went deep into that, and I did it all live. Like, I did a demo of that in one of the Q&As. So your questions also bring up a lot of the content. So Polly, you don't need the extra stunning lettering workshop. You have that content embedded in the curriculum. So Polly, again, and for all of you, you can click the link in the chat and come and enroll in the lettering seminar, and go to the site and read everything. We have put quite a lot of intention into describing everything that happens inside the program, answering all of your questions. And I'm glad that we are talking about this here online, and I get the chance to answer all of your questions live. But you also have a lot of information there, and therefore you can click the link in the chat and go to the site. I'm going to move on to Jen's question. Jen is asking, will the seminar include information on how to design logotypes? Jen, all of the foundations, the tools, the techniques, the processes that you will learn inside the program are can be applied in logotype design. And what is interesting is that every student works throughout the program. They work on one project. So they create, we say that during the program, you will create a piece of work, your best lettering piece yet, and a piece of work that you're proud to show. So for you, if you're interested in creating custom logotypes and incorporating this in your work, Jen, you will have probably the pool to create, or the project that you will create during the seminar will be a logotype design, right? It will be a logotype, and you will apply all the things that you learned throughout the seminar in a logotype project. And many of our students do this. Some of our students, depending on their interest, they create a book cover, or they create an illustration or a print. Some of our students create a design for a packaging. Some of our students work on a logotype. Some of our students work on their own logotype for their own business. So you see how it all makes sense. So you will be working on your project, and you will be applying all of the things that you learn to your specific project. So yes, the seminar will include all the information that you need to design custom logotypes, Jen. And for all of the branding experts and logotype designers in the room, this is really the foundation. The things that you will learn here are the foundations, and also the professional techniques that you need to work with logotypes, to create custom logotypes, because you will learn in a specific vectorization technique to create logotypes that have the capability to be scalable, which you need to have that capability. If you're working on a branding system, on an identity system, you need to have the capability to scale your work. And this is the technique we teach inside the lettering seminar. So Jen, yes, it will include all the information that you need for that. Excellent. Let me move. So Jojo is asking about the community. Is the access to the community group after the seminar available, or is it only during the 8 weeks? Jojo, this is a great question, and I love that you're asking this, because what we have seen that works the best for our students is that there's a clear deadline to this experience. Having a deadline, and I spoke about this throughout the series, having a deadline really helps you complete the work, really helps you go through the work, even if you don't have it all figured out. It really helps you move forward. So the program becomes a deadline for our students. And what happens is that because they know they have 8 weeks to go through the program live with us, and through the with the community support, with the support of our expert team, they do the work. We always say that the learning seminar is a sprint. It's really an intense experience where you get to learn everything in one place, and having that deadline where after 8 weeks the live experience closes, because you will have access to all of the replays, all of the content. This you will have lifetime access to it, right? You can always come back to that. But the live experience, the connection with the community, the support, the live Q&As, they last the duration of the program, which is 8 weeks. And this is what works the best for our students. Now, after finishing the program, so yes, the community group is available during the 8 weeks of the program. And for that reason, because it has proven to be the most efficient way of making our students take a big leap, or make a big leap in their work, having that deadline. Now, what is very unique from us, and what we offer as part of the education we offer our students, is that we are here for the long run. We understand that building a skill and building a career as a lettering designer and artist is really a marathon. So after the program, if you want to continue your work with us, we'll invite you inside our Big Ampersand membership, which is accessible only to our alumni. And you can decide to join or not, but we will invite you. And if you want to continue working with our support, with our training, we will invite you to join that experience, which is, if the lettering seminar is a sprint, we say that Big Ampersand, which is our membership, is a marathon. And we accompany you throughout the entire journey of building this, which is a marathon. It's not something that you build in 8 months, in 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, you get everything you need. You understand everything you need to understand to create solid work, to build a solid portfolio, and to look for professional opportunities. But after that, building your profession, building your career, continuing to improve your skills. This is something that we will also offer support, and we will invite you once the program ends. So Yo-Yo, I hope that answers your question. There's a reason why we close the community, and the reason is that it gives our students better results. So Roma is gonna post the link in the chat. Jojo, if you are decided to join us inside the lettering seminar, you can click on the link and enroll. Let me look through the questions. I have a lot of questions. All right, this I answered already. Okay. Yes. Maribel is asking, for the Dream Team, will it be one live session of each Dream Team member, I guess? Maribel, yes. The live sessions of the Dream Team members, they happen once a week, and they're connected, or they have a correlation to the module we are in. So it's not like you're having the session with Jessica Molina about licensing in the beginning of the program, where you are looking at lettering foundations and letter anatomy, right? Because that has no connection at all. So Jessica Molina session will be will happen in the weeks where we will be speaking about the business side of the of lettering design, right? So the sessions with the Dream Team, they are connected with the modules, right? And they happened every week, and they happen once, yes. And then everybody has an access to the replay for lifetime. Excellent. So Maribel, I hope that answers your question. Yes, the sessions are connected with the modules, or they are, in a way, they are related to the module. So when we are speaking about digital drawing, we will have the sessions with Alana Flowers about Procreate and Adobe Fresco, right? It wouldn't make sense to have them in any other point of the seminar. So Yvette is asking, is there materials we need to buy extra for the class? You don't. Actually, what you need for the class is pencil, paper, and we will invite you to buy also tracing paper, which is this transparent paper, because this is a specific technique that we use inside the lettering seminar that you will love. So that's all you need. And you will need a laptop with Adobe Illustrator installed. And if you don't have Adobe Illustrator, you can download a trial version for free. So bear that in mind. And even if you don't use Adobe Illustrator, you can download a trial version for free and use it for a month or over a month, which will be enough to cover all the digital part of the work. So yes, that's all you need, Yvette. Pencil, paper, tracing paper. We will tell you everything. You will have time to buy all these tools when you come into the program, because until we start using that, it will take a week or a week and a half. So you will have time to buy all this stuff. And then a laptop or a desktop computer with Adobe Illustrator installed. If you don't have Adobe Illustrator, you can download a free trial. And if you don't want to use Adobe Illustrator, you can use any other vector program of your preference. All right. Okay, so Deb is asking also about Adobe Illustrator. You're asking what level of Adobe Illustrator knowledge do you need to have coming into the program? You don't need prior knowledge of the program. In fact, we have a session that is called Easy Start in Adobe Illustrator, where Elias, our digital instructor, is going to show you exactly how to get started with the program. I want to also tell you that the way lettering designers use Adobe Illustrator it's not very fancy. We use a few tools that help us do 90% of the things. And there's advanced tools that you can use to do that we will show you inside the program. But to get you started, you will need just a few tools. You won't need to understand the entire program. So know that even if you come into the program without having have never opened Adobe Illustrator, you will be able to create a lettering piece in Adobe Illustrator for sure. Many of our students do it, and I'm sure, Deb, that you won't have any problem with our support, with the classes that we offer inside, specifically to support students that don't have previous knowledge in Adobe Illustrator. You won't have any problem vectorizing your lettering piece and creating something beautiful. Now, it is also true that we have a lot of designers and branding experts and illustrators coming into the program that already have that tool, that already have used that tool for years. And that also makes it even more valuable for someone like you, who I understand that you don't have knowledge of in Adobe Illustrator. It makes it very valuable because everybody, many of the people in the program will be able to support you. So if you have a question, either our support team will answer that question with a little demo video sometimes, or your peers will jump in and will help you. So yes, that's part of the collective knowledge we have inside the program, which I love. So Debbie or Deb, Adobe Illustrator won't be a roadblock for you. And if that's the only thing that is holding you back, I invite you to join us inside the lettering seminar. You can click the link in the chat and go to the site, and there you have the button to enroll to the program. Remember that those enrolling within the first 24 hours, so until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, you will get a free ticket to the Art and Business of Lettering yearly retreat that is happening this summer. So that will present for you already a perspective of like, okay, I'm learning this now, and I'm gonna have an accountability instance in the summer. And we call it like our back to school, because even those that went on holiday, that dropped the towel for a month or two, they come back to the craft, they come back to the work during that experience. So you are joining the program already knowing, hey, I'm gonna have that extra accountability instance in the summer to come back to the craft and to make progress. Okay, Jeff. Jeff is asking, Jeff, I don't know if you're in the chat. Yeah, you are there, Jeff. Post the 8 weeks. After the 8 weeks. How active is the community? Okay, so I answered this question already, Jeff, which means that during the program, our community, or the community for the lettering seminar, the cohort for the lettering seminar is open for the duration of the program. And the reason for that is because it presents that structured experience, that experience that has a beginning and an end, and that keeps our students doing the work intensively during those 8 weeks. And I am passionate about this decision that we have of keeping the cohort opening and closing, because we have tried different models throughout the years, and we have tried also the model of like leaving the community open, and that hasn't worked for our students. And therefore, we have decided for a few years now and successfully kept the program starting and finishing in the time span of 8 weeks. Now, after the experience of the lettering seminar, we will invite you to join Big Ampersand. And Big Ampersand is our membership, our ongoing support to our students. And some students decide to join, some students decide not to join. So that is gonna be up to you whether you want to continue that journey with us. Yes, but we are convinced and positive that it is to the benefit of the students that the community for the lettering seminar opens and closes after 8 weeks, which is the duration of the program. You will have access to all of the, all of the content, all of the replays of the live sessions, everything, the Q&As, everything. You will have lifetime access to that. But the community for the lettering seminar, the cohort, closes. And if you decide to join us this year, Jeff, and you, after that experience, you feel you want to continue that journey with us, you have that possibility, because we are here for the long run. As I say, we really help designers and creatives build this skill seriously and apply it professionally and build careers with it. And we know that this is a journey of that extends in the span of time. So we are here for the long run, Jeff. And if you're decided to join us, you can click on the link in the chat and join us inside the lettering seminar. I'm looking forward to see you there. So, Ibeth, I see another question of you about the materials. I hope I answered that question. Let us know if you have more questions. Pencil, paper, tracing paper, and a computer with Adobe Illustrator installed. Melanie is asking, do we need to know Photoshop as well? No, you don't. No, you don't. Most of the work happens in Adobe Illustrator, really. So Melanie, again, you will see how simple is the work inside Adobe Illustrator that we do. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that it's not as flashy as it seems, in the sense that of using effects and 3Ds and all that stuff. It's really a craft what you're learning. And you will see that even if you're using digital tools, the craft is still there. There's a lot of like working on the details and decision making on the curve and moving points and moving curves of your letter A. So you will see that, Melanie, you don't need flashy materials or tools. And the tools that we teach you inside the program are those that you need to create really stunning lettering work. So Melanie, I hope that helps you. Move towards deciding whether you want to join the lettering seminar or not. So I see Mary's question. I saw another question regarding how many people take part in the seminar. So in the seminar, our cohorts normally host between 100 to 300 people, 300 students. And I know that for many of you, this may sound like a lot of people, and you may feel like, oh no, it's gonna be full of people. But the truth is that you will see that the experience, the way it's designed, it creates real connections between students. And every Q&A, every live session, it has the perfect amount of students so that the interaction continues to move forward. The insights that come out in each session are valuable. And we also work a lot with breakout rooms. So we divide our studentship into smaller cohorts or smaller working groups, which makes the experience very, very intimate, very personal. And that's why I mentioned before that many of our students become best buddies inside the program, because you really start these connections. You really keep track of one another. So the cohorts host between 100 and 300 students. And this year, 1/3 of the spots have been taken by alumni. So this is why I'm inviting you to join. If you're decided to join, I invite you to join today so that you can secure a spot and join the community already. Once you enroll to the program, you will already get access to the program and the community and see the interaction that is already happening. And Mary, to your question, I also want to say that you will get the personalized feedback, the personalized eyes on your work, the answers to your questions. We have been hosting this program for 10 years, and we know what helps our students move forward. We know how to make this, again, this virtual online experience very personal, very real, and very unique. So you won't be a number for us. We will know you by the name. We will talk on Zoom calls. If any of you have been in the VIP experience, you have seen how that is. We have talked, we have had conversations, you have interacted with one another. We have interacted during those sessions in Zoom. It does look very different to these live sessions that are happening here on YouTube, which are great. There's a lot of chat interaction, but the what happens inside a Zoom call goes much deeper, goes much more personal. And this is what we do inside the lettering seminar. So Mary, if you're ready to join, you can click on the link and join us inside the lettering seminar. And for all of you, if you are decided to join us, this is the time. So Vicky is asking, Vicky, you're asking about whether you get a certificate and whether the program is accredited. So when you sign up for the program, so the answer is yes, you get a certificate from us, even signed by me. When you sign up for the program, and this is something I didn't include in my presentation, first we will send you a book via snail mail, so you will get something in the mail from us. One of the things is my book. Another one of the things is your diploma of the program signed by me. And another thing is going to be a card, which you will understand what that card means at the end of the program. So when you sign up, we send you a package to your home or to whatever you want us to send us a package. And the three elements are a book, the diploma for the program, and this card that that gives you the that is something that you will discover what it is once we complete the program. This is something that we talk about in the graduation ceremony. So we will tell you what that is at the end of the program. And you also get a badge that you can put on your website. Many of our students put it as a way of, showing credentials of their training. So Vicky, I hope that answers your question. You will get a certificate of the program afterwards. Thank you for submitting those questions, Vicky. I hope that helps you make an informed decision to join the program. I'm looking forward to see you inside. So Shrutim is asking, will I have a portfolio ready piece at the end of the seminar? 100%. One of the main goals of the seminar is that you start and complete what we say is your best lettering piece yet. And this lettering piece will be, if you don't have a portfolio yet, it will be the start of your portfolio. So Shrutim, yes, all of our students work, one of the things that they do throughout the seminar is that they work on their own project. And as I said, every student works on a different project. Some of the students are interested in creating lettering for book covers. Some work on a logotype design. Some work on a packaging design, and they apply their lettering skills to that project. And the reason for that is because they are intentionally deciding in what they want to, what is the piece of lettering they want to create throughout the program, so that they can later include it in their portfolio and signal or send a clear message to the world of what is the work they want to be doing, right? So, Shrutim, yes, you will have a portfolio ready piece at the end of the seminar. Some of our students have several portfolio ready pieces throughout the seminar, at the end of the seminar. Depending on your level of knowledge, expertise, the time you can invest in the program, some of our students, they have a lot of output or more than just one lettering piece. One lettering piece is that one that can change everything for you. Some of our students create 2 or more. So Shrutim, I hope that answers your question. 100%. You will have portfolio ready lettering piece at the end of the seminar. So Shrutim, if you are ready to join us, you can click the link in the chat and join us inside the lettering seminar. Let me see if I have more questions here. Oh my God. More questions. More questions. All right, I answered that one. Materials I answered, community, Adobe Illustrator, the live sessions with the dream teams. I have covered most of the questions. I have touched on the software. I have touched on the availability of the, I have touched on the timings of the live sessions. I have touched on the curriculum. Excellent. So now it's just left for you to make a decision, go to the site, click on the link that is in the chat that Roma left for you, go to the site and read the site and join us inside the lettering seminar. Remember that you have a, let me just change this. Remember that you have a 100% money back guarantee for 14 days. So if you join the program and you go inside and you feel like this is not for you, you have 14 days to ask for a refund, no questions asked. And in the next days, we're going to remind you about the enrollment because this program only happens once a year. And if you don't join this cohort, you will have to wait another year to do this with us, right? So I want you to have that into consideration, that if you're ready, if you feel like you have gained momentum throughout this workshop series and you want to continue that work, this is the time. This is the time of the year where we offer this. And if you're decided to go deep into this, do it now and join us inside the lettering seminar. Now, the registration period closes on Tuesday, April 7th at 11:59 p.m. and it closes afterwards. So in the next days, we're going to remind you about the registration period. And if you have questions, you can always either reply to our emails or you can ask questions in the chat that is on the site. On the site, on the right side, on the bottom right side, on the bottom right, you have a chat, and you will be chatting with us, with real people. If you're sleeping, if we are sleeping, we won't be answering. We would ask you for your email so that we can reply when we wake up. But you will be chatting with us, with our team. So if you have questions in the next couple of days, you can either reply to our emails, we will be reading those, or you can ask questions in the chat. And either me or Roma or Micaela will be answering those questions. Those are all part of our team, and we are here to support you in this decision of joining this year lettering seminar. Other than that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this workshop series. I am really happy that you decided to join. And regardless of whether you decide to join the lettering seminar, which I hope many of you will continue the path with us, I hope that you got value from this series, and that I will get to accompany you and continue the work inside the lettering seminar. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.